Hey, welcome back to my channel. Today I want to get into shadow work and dark matter, death, and all things morbid, because I think that when we were kind of learning about all these things from our elders or the people around us, or like in education and stuff like that, in our systems and structures, they had a kind of template or set of standards or rules or meanings and definitions for what death is, for what darkness is, dark matter is, and also our shadow, our dark selves. And I feel as though we can go further with this topic, and we can kind of delve into it like from a deeper understanding, and how we can kind of do shadow work and or integrate our shadow to basically help us heal and overcome difficult situations, and also to even find ourselves, because sometimes we have to go through the flames, like we have to go through the fire to kind of be more resilient in this world, or be more courageous and like stand up for ourselves, and or just to find out like different parts of ourselves that we didn't know was there, or just like delve deeper. Like there's layers to people, right? Like we are an onion, like there's layers to us. And just like the pumpkin, there's layers to the pumpkin too, and we're like that. And basically we all have certain aspects of ourselves that people would say are unsavory, or unruly, dangerous, and all this kind of stuff. And it's important to kind of like in this realm keep balance and balance out any conflicting energies. So, you know, if we're too much on one side, like if we're too good and too orderly and obeying everything, and we're following rules and stuff like that, what's happening, you know, on the other sides? Like, what are we neglecting certain things because we're so much on one side, right? So I find personally for myself, it's important to just balance everything out, because I think when you have balanced energy and you can see, you know, two sides of the story, you can see light and dark, good and bad, and you can understand where people are coming from, you can basically, it helps you in life, it helps you with different things, you know, you can see from different perspectives, you kind of can empathize and understand what people are going through, right? And even if you are going through a tough situation, if you have done shadow work, if you have explored the darker things, or kind of just gone through situations, you'll be able to kind of like, usually in the future, like if you're grounded and equal, like stable, you can kind of like overcome tough situations, or know how to handle yourself in a tough situation. So for myself, I did shadow work a while ago. I think that it's something that, you know, people should go through. I think a lot of people go through it. They don't necessarily give it a definition, like shadow work or like integrating your shadow and stuff like that. Some people just go through certain situations, or they go through certain things in life where they have to look at the darker side of things. They have to go through pain, trauma, abuse, like all kinds of stuff to basically, in that moment, sometimes like they kind of find themselves. And what I mean by that is they might find their strength, you know, courage. They might find their ability to, you know, stand up for themselves. They might find their ability to like know what they like and don't like in life, because how else are you gonna know by like what you dislike in life, you know, without experiencing some kind of like rejection or some kind of like rude comment, or you know what I mean. So we all go through certain situations in life where we are tested and we are kind of like tried, you know, and we have to go through it, and we have to kind of, you know, come out from it, you know, and move on with our lives and not be held back by certain situations. And when you get held back or stuck and all this kind of stuff, you know, I hear about a lot of people that have been like stuck in certain aspects and ways of their lives, or I meet people that are, they're fixed in a certain way, and they're so like living a certain lifestyle that they neglect, you know, they haven't done any shadow work, or you know, they're not really into seeing things from different perspectives and all that, so that when something weird, you know, intercepts and comes their way, they're not really capable or able to handle it. You know, if something like chaotic or, you know, something whack comes their way, like they've been so into their own way and they haven't gone through any shadow work. Sometimes these people haven't even experienced any hardships in life. They haven't experienced any kind of like trauma or any kind of pain where they had, so if they're faced with it, like sometimes it can be very, very, very like challenging, tough for them. It can be very emotional, very triggering, and they might experience like extreme kind of feelings, or they might like get really hurt, like psychologically or physically, I don't know. But personally for myself, I feel like for me, when I did my shadow work, because I've done in the past, but I'm not afraid to like go back into the darkness and see like the morbid, the dark side of life, the dark side of things, because you know, we don't live in a perfect world. So yeah, I'm not afraid of it, and I'm not really, you know, I'm not really scared of anything, you know, these days, you know, since I was a child. I think how old was I? I was like, not a child, but a tween. I was watching a lot of scary movies and stuff like that, and I always was able to look at the dark side of life, because I mean, I think with a lot of Capricorns, you know, we're ruled by Saturn, and we understand the hardships and tricky situations and all that kind of stuff, or you know, we're faced with a lot of challenges in life. So some Capricorns are. So I completely understand, you know, all of that, and I'm not afraid to delve into it. But anyway, yeah, I think it's good for people to kind of be able to look at the parts of themselves that they kind of dislike, or they kind of sweep under the rug to appear normal in today's society. I think it's important for you to accept all of yourself, like all of yourself, even the parts of yourself that you know you dislike so much, you hate so much, and you just wanna hide it, you just wanna cover it up. But the thing is, you know, sometimes it comes out, right? And that's okay. Like we all have our trials and tribulations. We all have feelings, we all have wants and needs, and certain situations can trigger us to kind of act out in a way that we feel is unsavory or unsavory to the people around us. So we try to keep a balance and all that. But I find like with the shadow and all that, like the shadow part of ourselves, it's important to basically acknowledge it and accept it for what it is, like how it is and all that, because when you deny it and pretend like it doesn't exist, I mean, we all have those, you know, natures that are a bit, people would say are low-natured things, like low-natured feelings and all that. We all have that, and it's normal to experience those feelings, you know. Some of us were taught it, some of us we just have it, and it's important to, you know, just acknowledge it and for what it is. You don't have to like let it control you, let it rule you or what you do. Just acknowledge that it's there, and you know, move on with your life and try to if you're going through a really, really tough time, try to heal yourself. Try to just accept it for what it is and not deny it, not pretend it doesn't exist. Because some of us, we have to kind of like, we have to, you know, acknowledge it. We can't just sweep everything under a rug, because sometimes certain situations, you know, they're gonna test you, and they're gonna test us, and they're gonna kind of, if we haven't healed ourselves, if we haven't overcome tough situations in life, it can be kind of, if a certain situation that's like a bit chaotic and stuff comes our way, you know, we won't be able to handle it if we haven't done certain work on ourselves. Now, some people, they're fine, they can handle it, but I know a lot of people, you know, that are stuck in certain rigid like systems and certain rigid kind of paradigms, like mental subconscious programming. Like if they're stuck in that, they can kind of, if anything weird comes their way, they're not equipped to deal with it, because they haven't done their shadow work, or, you know, certain things, they haven't learned certain teachings. So when something comes their way, they don't know how to handle it properly and in a more mature manner. You know what I'm saying? They might react violently, they might, you know, start a fight, they might, you know, disrupt people around. I don't know, but there's certain ways to address and handle situations, right? And you don't have to result to violence to handle everything. You don't have to result to slander, bigotry, and like all this negative energy. You don't have to like to defend yourself. You know, there's other ways of going about it, right? So I also want to get into darkness and dark energy, dark matter, because there's a lot of confusion with that still to this day. And I think Hollywood has gotten better, you know, in terms of like explaining dark energy, dark matter, or just like displaying it. Because, you know, in the past, a lot of the villains, a lot of the evil people would wear black. They wear like dark clothing, or, you know, stuff like this, you know, like what I'm wearing. They'd just be kind of like, you know, the edgy, dark people, gothic people, or the robbers would be in black and stuff like that. But these days, you know, the villains in movies and stuff like that might be wearing white, they might be wearing pink and all kinds of stuff. So, I mean, these days it's getting better, but there's still to this day a bit of like confusion with black and all this kind of stuff. And the reason why they wanted to push the color black as bad, as negative, is because black is a very powerful color. Everything that you're seeing around you, you know, the light photons around you, is what they call the Maya, the illusion world. But most of the energy around you is like dark matter, dark energy. And, you know, we just aren't able to perceive it. So the light stuff we're seeing, these eyes lie, right? The two eyes lie. So what you're seeing around you is not necessarily, like, it's part of the matrix, it's part of the systems. So what you're seeing around you isn't necessarily like 100% the truth. There's a lot that we can't see, and we've been kind of cut off from certain abilities. Now there's people, a lot of people, most people have these abilities, but, you know, it depends on maybe your lifestyle and diet, or if you've developed like your own spiritual powers or supernatural powers and all this kind of stuff. But some people have the ability to see beyond the veil, like more than other people would, because they're like trained at it. They train themselves to do that, and they kind of, so that's why when people say, oh, I see this, I see ghosts, spirits, ancestors, I see dead people, you know, like stuff like that, it's because their third eye's open, or they've been on a very clean, strict diet. It might be like all raw foods and stuff like that. And we can all tap into these abilities. Like, it's not limited to just a few people. But what I'm saying is that these people, some of these people go the extra step. Like, they train themselves to see beyond and more. And these people know that dark matter and all this kind of stuff is like, that's what mostly makes up this kind of world and stuff. And we can't see it though. That's the thing, because these eyes, like our eyes, lie. They really do. So it's, yeah, it's interesting. But yeah, so also I want to say, you know, black is a great color. It's very powerful. That's why they demonize it so much in Hollywood, because black is a powerful and strong color. You know, when women wear black, like a black dress and stuff, it slims them, it keeps them, it's like a cloaking color. So it's, they say, oh, if you want to look slimmer, if you want to look skinnier, wear black. Or they say they just like dark colors, because black is it's a strong, it's a powerful color, and the galaxy and the universe and stuff is composed of dark matter. So yeah, you know, a lot of people they want you to fit in and fit the narrative. They don't want you to become too powerful and stuff like that, because if certain people are in power and they want to keep all the power for themselves and they don't want any power for you, they're going to be teaching you the opposite or showing you the opposite in the movies. So they're going to be saying, oh, black is this, black is that, spirituality is this, spirituality is that, you know what I'm saying? Paganism or African spiritual religions and Latin American spiritual religions are bad. But the thing is though, in order to control people, in order to basically have control over others and to warp their subconscious and their abilities and stuff like that, they have to give you the opposite, you know, which is what they did. A lot of leaders and people did this. They're still doing it to a certain extent, and they have to give you the opposite. They have to tell you the opposite so that you don't find your power, because like I said, like dark energy and stuff like that is very powerful. Black is very powerful, you know, wearing black stuff, it's a very cloaking color. It's a very, it's a color you can use to manifest and all that as well, like, because it's very powerful and it's protective. So what I mean by that is like wearing black, you know what when they say, oh, why do witches and all these people wear black, it's a protective color. So if you want to like protect yourself from attacks, psychic vampirism, you know, all that kind of stuff, you can like wear black. I don't wear black all the time. I can protect myself and my environment around me and even people around me by just mental work and visualization and stuff like that. I don't, and my own energy and my own vibe and aura, I don't need to necessarily wear black, but you know, for certain occasions and whatnot, I would wear black because, and certain seasons I would wear more black because, yeah, it's very protective color. And if you're doing work where you want to kind of remain like magic work or manifesting and stuff to do with spirituality, and you're creating things, you're manifesting, you could even be an artist and whatever it is. If you want to, but you want to remain anonymous, like behind the veil and not have anyone recognizing you and stuff like that, wear black, wear darker colors and all that, because you know, it's a good cloaking color. It's good to conceal. It's good for concealing things. So yeah, if you want to conceal yourself, maybe in public, in a spiritual realm, like, because there's this physical realm, which is, you can see me now, in this physical realm, but then there's the spiritual realm, right? Which some people, everyone has access to it. It's just like a lot of people don't believe in it. They've been taught that it doesn't exist. They've been taught that it's all mumbo jumbo and movies and all this and Hollywood and our education systems and stuff like that, and they kind of make it seem like a joke. But this whole spiritual realm thing goes back to like ancient Kemet. Like it's there, it's always been there, it's not anything new, okay? And if you think it's mumbo jumbo, well, I mean, that's up to you. I don't have to convince you and stuff like that. But there's a lot of people that experience it. I feel like, you know, if you're in a mindset where you think everything is like literal and you take everything literally, then you're gonna experience literal. You're gonna experience third dimensional things only, or you're gonna experience just this physical realm only. But if you're open-minded, if you're okay with different perspectives, if you are, you don't even have to be spiritual, but you might be kind of like into just learning more about the world and stuff like that, that you'd be more open to learning about the metaphysical, the spiritual sides of life, and what's beyond the veil. Like, so yeah, I want to get into like techniques and stuff you can do to kind of get access to the dark matter, the dark energy, and the dark portals, because, you know, there's lots of dark portals, you know, black holes in our galaxy and stuff like that. And, you know, they have this thing with the black mirror. Now, like I said before, everyone's like, oh, try mirror gazing, right? You know, where you gaze in the mirror and you see all different versions of yourself, or you can like use it to manifest and all this kind of stuff, or use it to enhance your spells. Like, some people use it for beauty spells. They use mirrors for beauty spells. They use it for all kinds of things, like to do with manifesting and the law of attraction. But what people say though is like, don't ever gaze into a black mirror because they still have this idea with black being something bad and something that's, you know, it's like taboo, or, you know, to do certain things with like black, or, you know. And like I said before, you know, all colors have their meanings and stuff like that, you know. And also, you know, black represents, for a lot of people, represents death as well, right? Like Santa Muerte, death. And I'm gonna get into death as well later on in this video. But thing with black, right? It can be good for a lot of people. Like, it can be a good thing, you know, when they say like something bad is good, you know, like Michael Jackson's song Bad. that was a good song, you know. You know, when people say, oh, you know, this person is like a bad boy and stuff like that, and they're like, people are like, oh yeah, he's bad, or she's a baddie, but bad is good, you know, to a lot of people. Like, bad is, you know, when Michael Jackson and certain rock stars, you know, when they wear the black leather and they wear like a lot of black makeup and stuff like that, you know, all the rock stars from the 1980s, you know, they're basically being themselves, you know, they're being their authentic self. They're not hiding their shadow side. They're fully embracing their shadow, and they're like showing their shadow side to people, and they don't really care. They didn't care like if people dislike them, and because that's what drew people to them. When you can like display your vulnerability, your flaws, you can display your like the darker sides of yourself to people, like people relate to that, because we all have dark sides to ourselves. Like, I have dark side to myself, you know, I'm showing it a bit now. My neighbor has it, my teacher has a dark side. My teachers in the past, I'm not in school anymore, but my grandparents had a dark side. Like, everyone has a dark side. And I mean, obviously some people embrace theirs more than others, and there's different ways of embracing your dark side as well. But personally, for myself, I mean, you know, I don't pretend that it doesn't exist. I accept it for what it is, and I don't let it rule me or rule my life, because I like to keep a balance in my life, you know. I don't like to be fully into just dark and heavy metal. And no, 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 no. I need to have some balance in my life, because I find that when I have balance, I'm able to manifest things like for the long term. You know, long term, it's more stable. Like the things I get back in return, you know, they're more stable, more grounded, and long term as well. So yeah, I think about the bigger picture, because while I do love embracing my shadow side and all that, I still don't let it rule me or govern me or kind of overpower things, because some people, they can get so into their shadow side and emanating it and being it and embracing it to the point where it causes a lot of destruction, it causes a lot of chaos, hardships. It negatively affects their relationships. So that's what I mean by you need to keep the balance, right? For the mirror gazing, this is a pyramid that I got, and it's for EMF radiation and EMF frequencies and stuff like that. So this is shungite, and it's just a pyramid, and I have a stone, shungite stone. People put these in like smaller, you know, stones and stuff like in their water to cleanse their water. But for mirror gazing, you can like gaze into a black mirror. It's like shiny, reflective pyramid, and you can gaze into a black mirror if you want. Now, I want to like just confirm, you know, if you feel like something is demonic, and like if you feel black and black mirrors, and because like I said before, we were conditioned to kind of view black and darkness and death. We were taught to view death in a certain light. Okay, we were taught that it's something to be feared, it's something to basically like just, we were taught to just avoid it, like not even think about it, not even address or delve into it, you know. We were taught to just run away from it, always run away, run away, run away, just ignore it, just stay away from it. So a lot of people, when they're into certain things and whatnot, they also get wrapped up into what everyone else is doing, and oh, how will this person, like, what will they think, if I, this is not related to anyone around you. Like, this is your own life, this is your own journey, so you can make whatever decision you want on yourself. I'm not saying you have to do this. This is just like a kind of informative video, like an educational video. You know, you don't have to do any of what I'm saying. I'm just giving examples, you know. You can always take baby steps. I don't really scry or visualize into black mirrors a lot, because I don't really have a lot of black mirrors. I think this is like my only one, basically. I do like just using a regular mirror, and I've done a lot of shadow work in the past with myself, you know. So I mean, if I feel like I need to do shadow work, I will do it. You know, I will also wear black. I will kind of look at those parts of myself that I know I need to work on and I need to heal or just accept and, you know, deal with. But other than that, like, I don't really, currently as of now, I don't really have to do a lot of shadow work because I've done it. But yeah, so you can scry into anything dark and reflective, or you can even get a mirror, paint it black, paint your regular mirror black and scry it to that, right? And yeah, so basically shungite, I really like shungite, and this is also good for EMF protection, so, you know, radiation and stuff like that. And if you're, you know, some people with these electronics and these devices, you know, smartphones, tablets, laptops, earbuds, some people feel like sick, so shungite and orgonite is good for helping with that. Anyway, yeah. So Halloween is coming up, so I got my pumpkin, and I got another one here. But anyway, yeah, for some people, you know, black is bad. It's seen as like scary, ghastly, ugly, and all this kind of stuff. But it's just part of our life. Like, we were born in darkness. Like, in our mother's womb, like, it's dark. So like, why do we demonize black in the darkness so much? I don't know. You know, our space, the galaxies and stuff like that, if it wasn't for the black cosmos, you know, the stars wouldn't be able to shine. So we need black. We need it. Especially for duality in this world, we need it. You know what I'm saying? So yeah. And so also, you know, like, look at this cup. Like, some people might say, oh, this is like, your cup is so ugly. Like, that's an ugly cup. But I'll be like, I'll turn around and I'll say, you know what, this cup, it's not generic. It has character. Like, this cup is unique. It doesn't look like every other cup. And yeah, it might be, in your eyes, it might be ugly, but to me, this cup is like special. This cup it has character because it doesn't look perfect. It's imperfect. And sometimes in the imperfect can become perfect, or it is perfect to some people. Just like how, you know, we say something's bad, but we actually mean that it's good. Like, you know, like with certain artists, you know, we say, oh, they're such a bad role model. Oh, they're such a bad influence. But then we like that about them. We like that they're being their raw, unfiltered shadow self. You know, they're being who they are, like their dark side more, you know. And because we understand that, because we all have a dark side, we all have dark parts of ourselves. So when they are being more, you know, into those things, a lot of people like to relate to that because they're not squeaky clean. You know, when someone's squeaky clean or comes across as squeaky clean, that can a lot of people, some people can't relate to that, because if they're going through a tough situation or a tough time in life, they would more so relate to someone who is embracing their shadow, who is displaying certain vulnerabilities or parts of themselves. You know, that's why people like an underdog and stuff like that. Like, people that overcome things and people that have worked and built themselves, like, from the bottom to the, so yeah, like, if some people are like, you know, if certain people haven't experienced certain hardships in life, they kind of like, but then they kind of become this kind of influencer person or something like that. People find it kind of hard to relate to them, because they're like, okay, well, what have you gone through in your life for me to connect with you on a deeper level? Because they have the surface, shallow connections, and they have the deeper level connections. And some people, some artists can connect to people like on a deeper level, and then some artists, you know, that we, you know, people connect to, we connect to them on a shallow level. Like, oh, you look great. Oh, you sang great today, or you created this great thing, and blah blah blah. But we never really get to know the person. We never get to know this person. We never get to hear about their hardships. They might give like a little story. You know, these people, these celebrities and people come out with these little stories, and I'm like, yeah, that's not anything. That's not anything scary, or that's not anything dramatic or extreme, you know. But and that's okay. Like, people don't have to go through extreme things in life. I'm just saying that a lot of people relate to people who have gone through certain things because they might have experienced that too. And if someone's too squeaky clean, you know, that's why these days there's a lot of artists that you know that have come from really rough backgrounds, that have come from really backgrounds that have been trying and hard to deal with, because and that's what made, to some extent, that's what made them appealing, how they were able to do better and overcome this and become a great star, or whatever, artist, whatever they are. Like, so many people, because we can all relate to that story. A lot of us know what that's like, right? A lot of us can relate to that. So yep. Also want to go, I also want to get into death, and just like black, just like the color black, death is demonized. Death is made to seem like something really terrible, something that we need to constantly be running from, even though we're all gonna die. And like, oh, you know, when someone dies, oh, it's so sad. And yes, it's sad that they're gonna be gone and all that, and I understand that, but what I'm saying is death is not the end. You know what I mean? Like, just because you die in this realm, in this physical realm, that doesn't mean, you know, everything's over for you, or everything's over for your energy and your soul and your spirit. And you know, things are gonna, you might not be here in this realm, but you might be somewhere else in a different realm and all this kind of stuff. And you know, the ancient Egyptians knew about the afterlife. Like, they really prepared for it, so they knew that death was not the end, and they were excited for their next steps and their next experience. And yeah, so our smartphones are black mirrors, and we can access all kinds of stuff through our devices. It's like your smartphone, it's like a portal, you know. You can reach people all over the world and interact with people all over the world. So yeah, our smartphones, our tablets and laptops are black mirrors as well, and they're portals where we can basically access different realms. We can connect to people in countries all over the world. So you can't say you don't access dark energy or the dark realm and don't practice crying and blah 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 when you're always in your portal, in your little black mirror, you know, with your laptop and your smartphones. But anyway, with death, you know, death is basically, it is a transition period, you know. It's a conversion of energy, because we aren't just this human form. We are like, our spirit